Hello, everyone. I'm Jason, and welcome back to BetterTalk English, the place where we turn English learning into something simple, practical, and real. Today's topic is something many learners think about but often feel confused by. Should you learn English on your own, or should you take a course? This question can affect your time, your money, and your results. So let's break it down in a clear and honest way. Self-study is becoming more popular than ever before. With the internet, you have access to endless resources. You can learn from videos, podcasts, apps, and real conversations. This gives you a lot of freedom in how you learn. But freedom also comes with responsibility. When you study on your own, you control everything. You decide what to learn, when to learn, and how fast to go. This flexibility is a huge advantage for many people. You can focus on your weaknesses and skip what you already know. It makes your learning more personal. However, self-study is not always easy. Many learners struggle with discipline and consistency. Without a clear plan, it is easy to waste time or feel lost. You may jump from one method to another without real progress. This is a common problem. On the other hand, English courses offer structure. They give you a clear path to follow, step by step. You usually have a teacher who guides you. This can save you time and reduce confusion. Structure helps many learners stay focused. Courses also provide accountability. When you have classes, you are more likely to show up and practice. You have deadlines and tasks to complete. This pushes you to stay consistent. For many people, this is very helpful. Another benefit of courses is feedback. A teacher can correct your mistakes and guide you. This helps you improve faster in some areas. You get direct advice on what to fix. That can be very valuable. But courses also have their downsides. They can be expensive, especially long-term programs. Not everyone can afford them. This can limit access for many learners. Cost is an important factor to consider. Another issue is that courses are not always flexible. You must follow a schedule that may not fit your life. Sometimes the pace is too slow or too fast. This can be frustrating. Not every course matches your needs. Some courses also focus too much on theory. You may spend a lot of time on grammar exercises, but not enough time on real speaking practice. This creates imbalance, and it can slow your fluency. Now let's compare both options more directly. Self-study gives you freedom, but requires discipline. Courses give you structure, but reduce flexibility. Both have strengths and weaknesses. The best choice depends on you. Think about your personality and habits. Are you self-motivated and consistent? Then self-study might work very well for you. Do you need guidance and deadlines? Then a course might be better. It is also important to think about your goals. If your goal is to speak fluently, you need practice. Both methods can help if used correctly, but the approach matters more than the method. How you learn is key. Many successful learners actually combine both methods. They take some structure from courses and they use self-study for extra practice. This creates a balanced approach. It gives you the best of both worlds. In the end, there is no single perfect way to learn English. What matters is consistency, practice, and smart methods. Whether you choose self-study or courses, you must stay active. Learning happens through use, not just study. That is the real secret. Now, let's go deeper into how self-study actually works in real life. Many learners start with motivation, but lose direction after some time. Without a clear system, it becomes easy to feel overwhelmed. There are too many resources, and choosing becomes difficult. This confusion can slow your progress. To succeed with self-study, you need a simple plan. You should decide what skills to focus on each day. For example, speaking, listening, or vocabulary practice. This keeps your learning organized and focused. A clear plan saves time and energy. Another important part of self-study is consistency. It is better to study a little every day than a lot once a week. Small daily practice builds strong habits. Over time, these habits create real progress. Consistency is more powerful than intensity. You also need to track your progress. Many learners forget this step and feel like they are not improving. But when you track what you do, you see your growth. This keeps you motivated. It also helps you adjust your plan. Now, let's look at courses more closely again. A good course can give you a strong foundation. It introduces concepts step by step. This is helpful for beginners. It reduces confusion and builds confidence. However, not all courses are high quality. Some follow outdated methods or focus too much on theory. This can make learning boring or ineffective. You may feel like you are studying but not improving. Choosing the right course is very important. Another thing to consider is the teacher. A good teacher can make a big difference. They can motivate you and explain things clearly. But a weak teacher can slow your progress, so the quality of teaching matters a lot. Courses also create a learning environment. You are surrounded by other learners. This can be motivating and encouraging. You see others improving, and it pushes you forward. This social aspect is valuable. But sometimes group classes move at one speed for everyone. This may not match your personal level. You might feel bored or overwhelmed. This is one limitation of courses. Personalization is harder in groups. Now, let's compare motivation in both methods. In courses, motivation often comes from outside pressure. You attend classes because you have to. In self-study, motivation must come from within. You choose to continue on your own. This is why self-study builds strong independence. You learn how to manage your own learning. This skill is valuable not only for English, it helps in many areas of life. You become a more effective learner. At the same time, courses can build discipline. Regular classes create a routine. You get used to studying at specific times. This helps you stay consistent. Structure supports discipline. Another important difference is speed of learning. In self-study, you can move at your own pace. You can spend more time on difficult topics or skip what you already understand. This flexibility can speed up learning. In courses, the speed is usually fixed. You follow the program step by step. This can feel slow for some learners, but it can also prevent gaps in knowledge. It depends on your needs. When it comes to speaking practice, both methods require effort. Courses may give you some speaking time, but often it is limited. You still need extra practice outside. With self-study, you must create your own speaking opportunities. This can be challenging at first, but it also pushes you to be creative. You can talk to yourself or find partners online. This builds real-life skills. Another important factor to consider is how you handle mistakes. In a course, a teacher can correct you immediately. This helps you notice errors faster and adjust your speaking. It gives you clear direction on what to improve. That kind of feedback can be very useful. In self-study, feedback is less direct. You need to find ways to check your own mistakes. This can be through recording your voice or comparing with native speakers. It requires more effort and awareness, but it also builds independence. Let's talk about confidence for a moment. Courses can help you feel supported because you are not alone. You are learning with others who face similar challenges. This can reduce fear and pressure. It creates a safe space to practice. However, self-study can also build confidence in a different way. When you solve problems on your own, you trust yourself more. You become less dependent on others. This kind of confidence is very powerful. It stays with you long term. Another difference is how you use your time. In courses, your learning time is fixed and planned. You follow a schedule that may not always fit your day. Sometimes you attend even when you are tired. This can affect your focus. With self-study, you choose the best time for your energy. You can study when you feel most focused. This improves the quality of your learning. You use your time more efficiently. Flexibility becomes an advantage. Let's also think about learning style. Some people prefer clear instructions and guidance. They feel more comfortable with a teacher. For them, courses can be very effective. Structure gives them confidence. Other learners prefer exploring and discovering on their own. They enjoy trying different methods. For them, self-study feels more natural. It gives them control over the process. This makes learning more enjoyable. Another key point is responsibility. In a course, part of the responsibility is shared with the teacher. They guide you and remind you what to do. This reduces pressure on you, but it can also make you a bit dependent. In self-study, all responsibility is yours. You decide everything about your learning. This can feel difficult at first, but it also helps you grow as a learner. You take full control of your progress. Now let's talk about long-term results. Many learners finish courses but stop practicing afterwards. Their progress slows or even disappears. This happens because they depended too much on structure. They did not build strong habits. Self-study encourages habit building from the beginning. You learn to practice regularly on your own. This creates long-term consistency, and consistency leads to lasting results. That is a major advantage. Another important idea is combining both methods wisely. You can use a course for structure and guidance. At the same time, you can use self-study for extra practice. This gives you balance. It covers both strengths. For example, you can attend classes a few times a week, then practice speaking and listening on your own daily. This strengthens your skills faster. You are not limited to one method. You create your own system. At the end of the day, success does not depend only on the method. It depends on how you use it. Both self-study and courses can work very well. The key is to stay consistent and active. That is what truly makes the difference. At this stage, it becomes important to look at your personal goals more clearly. Are you learning English for work, travel, or daily communication? Your goal should guide your choice between self-study and courses. Different goals require different approaches. Clarity makes your learning more effective. If your goal is flexible and personal, self-study can be a strong option. You can focus only on what you truly need. You are not forced to follow a general program. This saves time and energy. Your learning becomes more targeted. However, if your goal requires structured progress, a course can help. For example, preparing for exams or formal communication. Courses often follow a clear path that builds step by step. This helps you cover all necessary areas. It reduces the risk of missing important topics. Another factor to think about is your environment. If you are surrounded by English daily, self-study becomes easier. You can practice naturally in real situations. This supports your learning process. Environment plays a big role. But if you do not have that environment, a course can help create it. Classes give you a place to use English regularly. You interact with teachers and other learners. This creates practice opportunities. It fills the gap. Let's also talk about discipline again. Self-study requires strong internal discipline. You must decide to practice even when you do not feel like it. This is not always easy, but it builds mental strength. Courses, on the other hand, provide external discipline. You follow a schedule and attend classes regularly. This reduces the need for self-control, but it can also make you dependent on the system. Balance is important. Another important idea is feedback quality. In good courses, feedback is clear and helpful. A teacher can explain your mistakes and guide you. This can speed up your improvement. Good feedback is powerful. In self-study, feedback is less structured. You need to find creative ways to improve. This can include recording yourself or using online tools. It takes more effort, but it also builds awareness. Let's consider cost again in a deeper way. Courses can be expensive over time. You need to think about your budget. Not everyone can afford long-term programs. This is a real limitation. Self-study is usually much cheaper or even free. There are many online resources available. You can learn without spending much money. This makes it accessible to everyone. Cost is a big advantage here. Another point is learning speed. With self-study, you can move quickly if you stay focused. You are not limited by a group pace. This can be very efficient, but only if you stay consistent. In courses, the pace is controlled by the program. This can feel slow for fast learners, but it can also prevent gaps in knowledge. It ensures steady progress. It depends on your preference. At this level, you should start thinking about combining methods more seriously. Use courses for guidance and self-study for practice. This creates a strong system. You benefit from both sides. When you mix both approaches, you reduce weaknesses. You get structure without losing flexibility. You get guidance without losing independence. This balanced method is often the most effective. It supports long-term success. As you reach this stage, your understanding of both methods should feel clearer. You can now see the strengths and weaknesses of each approach. This awareness helps you make smarter decisions. You are no longer guessing what might work. You are choosing based on logic and experience. One important thing to remember is that no method works without action. You can have the best course or the best resources, but if you do not practice, nothing changes. Progress always comes from doing, not just learning. Action is the real key. All right, that's it for today's episode. I hope this helped you clearly understand the difference between self-study and English courses and which one might work best for you. Remember, there is no perfect method, only the one that you actually use consistently. The key is to stay active, keep practicing, and keep improving. If you found this episode useful, try to apply what you learned today. Choose a method, or even better, combine both in a way that fits your life. Don't wait for the perfect plan. Just start and adjust as you go. Progress comes from action, not overthinking. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you in the next episode here on Better Talk English. Keep learning, keep practicing, and keep moving forward.